Welcome to the Titanium Life Podcast. This is Armand Sadeghi. I'm going to be your host through this incredible journey of learning and growing together, finding out about so many different amazing things as they relate to business, to life, to health, to wealth, to relationships, and just about every part of life. So today I want to talk to you about success. You see, for most of our lives, our definition of success has been something someone else has given us. See, we started out as kids and our parents told us what it meant to be successful. They told us what we had to do in order to be successful, and we listened. Now, we didn't always listen to our parents, but even if we didn't listen to them, our definition of success still came from what they told us success was like. So if they said you have to go to school, you have to earn a degree, that's how you become successful. That became our definition of success. If our parents told us that successful people made a lot of money, we decided that that's what it took to be successful. Now, again, we didn't always follow through with the plan that they gave us, right? And often we rebelled and we didn't listen to them, but we were always listening to what they're saying, and they were defining our idea of what success was. But then as you get older, your peers start defining success for you. So now you're listening to your peers to determine what is success and what's not success. And as you get older and you go through life, it turns out that consistently we've got television, we've got role models and supposed role models, and we've got our parents and our friends, our peers, our coworkers, our boyfriends and girlfriends and husbands and wives and kids and all these other people in the world, and even books and podcasts trying to tell us what success is. And the reality is this: the Titanium Life is all about you determining your definition of success. It's not about living by someone else's definition of success. Because you see, if you're living by other people's definitions of success, you're never going to find that true freedom and true happiness inside of your life. Because we're all built differently. Genetically, no two human beings in the world are the same, not even identical twins. So as you and I are sharing this journey together, there's no way that I can define for you what success is, because my definition of success and your definition of success are never going to be the same. Now, they may have certain similarities. In fact, there are certain things that are bound to help you in life, like, for example, education. Well, of course, being more educated is better than not being as educated. But is that really the definition of success? Well, it depends on you. It depends on your life. It depends on where you want to go. So the Titanium Success Method, which is what Titanium Life is built on, is all about trying to allow people to define their own definition of success. So you decide what success is, and you decide what you really want for your life. But the thing that I do is I'm going to give you some hints and some tools that are going to help you define your definition of success. And my only attempt at ever helping anyone try to figure out success is I believe that success comes from balance in life. Success comes from having balance, in fact, in 10 different areas of life that I've identified as areas of life that most people find very important, and that they cover most of the things that we have in our lives. And in a moment, I'm going to share those 10 areas with you. But before I do that, I want to tell you that even this is simply a suggestion. You don't have to use the same 10 areas. You can use more, you can use less, you can use different ones, or you can choose that, yes, these 10 will serve the needs that you have at this stage in your life. In fact, your wheel of life, by the way, which includes these areas, can change as you get older and as life circumstances change. So there's nothing wrong with having this wheel change as you move through your life. But the bottom line is that success in almost every case comes from having balance in the different areas of your life. Now, when I talk about balance, some lazy people get really excited because in our society, we've decided that balance means being lazy. Balance means I'm going to sleep in the morning and I'm going to get home early at night. And I'm not going to work as hard. I'm going to take my weekends off. I'm going to take a lot of vacations, and I'm not going to put my effort into taking care of my family and all this stuff. No, see, that is not balance. That's laziness. And I'm not suggesting that you should work crazy hours or that you shouldn't take holidays and things like that. No, that's exactly the opposite of what I believe in for you. But I also don't believe that that's how balance is defined. See, balance is defined by the results you get. You want to have balanced results in your life. Now, at some stage in your life, you may need to work 100 hours a week to be successful in your career, and that's how you're going to get balance in your career. At another point in your life, if let's say you're married, you better be spending 100 hours a week in your marriage, because if your marriage is going to fall apart, or if it's just the beginning and you're planning your wedding or something like that, well, then you better be 100% there for your relationship. Otherwise, that's going to fall apart. Or if you have kids, for example, there are times in your kids' lives where you could see them for a few hours a week possibly and still maintain your relationship with your kids at a high level. But there are other times where you may need to spend 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 hours a week with your kids. So at every stage in our lives, we create balance by different amounts of time. But the reality is that at the end of the day, you need to have balance in the results that you're getting. The people who define their lives as being truly successful and lives that are blissful and peaceful, what you find they have in common is they have this thing called balance. And on my wheel, when people come to my events and when I coach people individually, one of the first things I do is I try to assess where they're at in their wheel of life. Because I need to understand what aspects of their lives they're thriving in and what areas they're just barely surviving in, right? Because in life, it's not about surviving, it's about thriving. And that's what I want for you. So what I want to talk to you about is in these 10 areas, how do we get you to absolutely thrive? So first, let me tell you what these 10 areas are. In no particular order, we can say one of the areas is finances. Another area is your intimate relationship. A third area is your physical health and body. Fourth is your spiritual health. Fifth is your emotional health. Number 6 is your career and your mission. Number 7 is contribution. Number 8 is fun and excitement. Number 9 is family and friends. And number 10, one of my personal favorites, is consistent growth. You see, if you have those 10 different areas of your life in balance, and in balance doesn't necessarily mean on a scale of 1 to 10 that they're all at 10s. It could mean that they're at 8s or 7s or even 6s. But I would prefer to see you have all 10 of these areas at a 6 than to see 7 of them at a 10 and the other 3 at a 2. Because see, if the 3 that are at a 2 happen to be, say, your intimate relationship, your physical body, and your emotional health, imagine if those are at a 2 or a 3, but your finances are at a 9. And you're having a great time, you're having lots of fun, you're contributing, your career's on fire, right? You're connected to your spirit and your soul, and you're connected to God and all that. But so you've got all those pieces working for you, and maybe you even have a great relationship with your family and friends. But if your intimate relationship is suffering, and you're overweight or you're underweight and your body's not healthy and you have no energy and you're not vibrant and you're emotionally not 100% there, what is the value of all that? What are you going to do with all that money? There's nothing you can do with it because you're not enjoying your life. You see, what you want is you want to have that balance. And that balance comes from understanding that these different areas of your life are going to need your consistent focus. So the key to finding that balance is defining success for yourself. And the way we define our success for ourselves is in each of these 10 areas, you want to have a documented idea of what you really want. What would success look like for you for your finances? So you've got to capture that on paper. You've got to define, what does it mean? What exactly do you want in this area of your life? How much money is enough money? And for you, is it money in the bank? Is it money in investments? Is it having cash flow? What do you define success in finances at? See, some people want to have a lot of money sitting in the bank. That's how they define success. But see, other people say, well, money in the bank could be gone if the banks go out of business, because maybe they were around in the 20s and 30s, right? So they count their wealth by how much money they've got hidden away in a safe deposit box or underneath their mattress. While someone else says money in the bank or in my mattress is useless. I define wealth by my income. I want to know how much money I'm making on a monthly basis, right? So if I have a job that pays me $200,000 a year, that's wealthy. But if I have a job that pays me $50,000 a year, it doesn't matter how much money I've got in the bank, because that doesn't get me excited. That doesn't allow me to keep going and building wealth. While another person is going to say, I don't care how much money I have in the bank, and I don't even care how much money I make. What I'm concerned about is, what is my passive income? Because my passive income is what's going to determine when I get to stop working, right? At least working for money. And I can spend the rest of my life enjoying my life and only doing the things that I love, whether they make me money or not. Right? So someone's going to measure it by passive income. So there are different things that you could look at. Someone might be interested in their net worth. Someone else is interested in something completely different. So the bottom line is, what is your definition of success in the area of finances? You want to document that. In fact, today, my challenge to you is document exactly what you want with your finances. But you're not going to stop there. What exactly do you want for your intimate relationship? If you're in one now, what would you like it to be like? If you're not in one now, what kind of an intimate relationship do you want to be in? See, that's what's going to define success for you in an intimate relationship. But we want to document it. And documenting it means putting it on paper or on the computer, not just thinking about it, not just praying that you're going to have a great relationship, not just sort of talking about it or having an idea in your head, but having a documented system, right? It's all documented. So now you know what success in a relationship looks like. Now, for those of you out there who are single, I'm not suggesting detailing every little minor detail of the person that you want to be with. You could do that, but realize this can be flexible. Right? So if you like blondes and the person you end up with has brown hair, nothing wrong with that, right? But so your definition might change, or maybe the color of the person's hair doesn't even matter, right? But what you've got to do is you've got to define the type of relationship you want to have. What does a successful relationship look like, sound like, and feel like to you? And then your physical health and body. See, your definition of your physical health and body being in a successful state is going to be different than other people's. Like, I have this thing for myself where I believe I want a body that is going to be world class. I literally mean a world class body. So I like to compare my body to Olympians, right? I want to have the kind of body that athletes have. Now, I have friends of mine who like to have bodies like bodybuilders, and that's great. I think it's great. But the thing I want is I want the flexibility and the vibrance and the energy that Olympic athletes have. That's what I want. So that's the kind of body I try to build for myself. And that's what my definition of a 10 in body is. If I have a world-class body that allows me to have maximum energy, so I get up in the morning and I'm ready to take on the day, right? And it allows me to go through the day, and by the time I get home at night, I want to still be able to run around with my kids and have that energy. And that's my definition, but that doesn't have to be your definition. See, someone else's definition of health is that they've got their body in a state where they're comfortable, right? Maybe for someone else, having a bunch of muscle on their body is not something they want. And that's great. See, that's the beauty of life, is you don't have to live by my rules. And I don't have to live by your rules or anyone else's rules. And believe it or not, you don't have to live by your parents' rules and by the rules that your friends and family have set for you, right? So then we get to spiritual health. And this is, again, where it's got to be your definition. Not what some religion told you, not what some specific religious leader told you, but what is your definition of spiritual health? Your connection to the spirit, to the universe, to the soul, to God, to whatever you believe in. But see, you get to believe in your own thing. Titanium isn't about teaching you who to believe in or what to believe in. All I say is that you have to have spiritual health. In fact, there may be people out there who don't even believe in God. But can they have spiritual health? Of course, your soul, your spirit, right? Your connection to the universe. That's very real, regardless of whether you believe in a religion or not. Right? And then we get to emotional health. Of course, at the end of the day, what is the value of all the success, all the money in the world, everything else, if you don't have emotional health? If you don't have happiness and fulfillment, what's the point? So my question for you is, what do you want in the area of your emotional health? Write down, document exactly what it is that you want in this area of your life. What do you want? What is happiness for you? Is it that you wake up every morning with a smile on your face? Well, let me tell you, I've chased after that, and it doesn't happen. A lot of mornings I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, another day. But you know what? 15, 20 minutes into it, I'm loving it. Because when you pop out of bed at 4 a.m. like I do, 4 a.m. is not always that pleasant. Because there's some nights where I decide to stay up a little later with my kids, or my wife and I go out to dinner, or we go somewhere, we have a couple of drinks. And man, let me tell you, 4 a.m. comes around and I'm not that happy to be up. But hey, my definition of success with my emotional health is not that I wake up with a smile every day. I like waking up with a smile. But my definition is I'm fulfilled with my life, that I have no regrets about my life, is that I choose to focus on living today to make it the best day possible and enjoying today while planning and preparing for tomorrow. So for me, the definition of happiness and fulfillment, or emotional health in this case, is, am I happy with who I am today and where I'm at today while pursuing everything that I want? As long as I have that, then yes, I have it. So for you, what is it? What is your definition of health? And see, at this point, we've now knocked out 5 of the areas. Once you know and you've documented what you want with your finances, your intimate relationship, your physical health in your body, your spiritual health and your emotional health, hey, congratulations, you're 50% of the way there. But then what do you want for your career and mission? And see, I purposely separate career and mission and put them on the same wheel, but I say both those words because your career is what you do. Your mission is what you were put on this earth to do. And many of you are out there having a career, but you're not living your mission. And it doesn't mean your career has to be your mission. By the way, I'm not like those people who tell everyone, go chase after your dreams and this and that. And hey, look, sometimes today's not the day to chase after your dreams. Today might be the day for you to pay the bills. Let's get real here. Let's be honest with each other, right? So today might be the day you go after your dreams. It might not be. But for you in your life, what is your career and mission? You see, for me, titanium is my mission in life. I don't do this because I have to. I don't do this because of money. I do it because I love it. And it shows. When people come to my events, every single time when we do surveys to ask them what was their favorite part of the event, by far the most common response is they say, Armand is really speaking from the heart. Of course I'm speaking from the heart, because I don't have to sit here and record this podcast for you. I don't do it because it's my career. I do it because it's my mission. And that's where the passion comes from. And you can sense the passion in my voice. I know you can. You can sense the energy. You can sense just how much feeling there is behind what I'm telling you, because it's my mission. Now, I have a career as well. I have multiple companies I own. I own 6 different companies. And while entrepreneurship as a whole is a mission that I'm on, but some of those companies aren't necessarily a mission for me, right? They're a career, but that's okay. I still put my all into it. Now, some of you, by the way, are going to say, well, I don't have a career or a mission yet. I'm not living either of those. I have a job. Well, hey, then you know what? You put your everything you've got into the job, but you realize you don't want a job. You want a career or a mission. That's what you're after. And ideally, you get to the point where you're living your mission and you turn your career into your mission. Much more about that later. And for many of you who are entrepreneurs and business owners, or people who want to be business owners, you're excited because you follow me, because you know I coach some of the top business people in the world. And that's one of the things I love doing, is coaching young entrepreneurs and established entrepreneurs to be even better, right? I talk about injecting people with rocket fuel. That's what I do. That's what titanium's all about. People come to me running on 87 octane gas, and I inject them with that rocket fuel. And that's what this podcast for you is all about, is how do we inject you with rocket fuel? And I can tell you, step 1 is we got to figure out where you're at on this wheel. We got to put some numbers on it. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at in these different areas? And then step 2, let's capture, what would a 10 look like? What do you want from every single area of your life? Let's capture what it looks like to have a 10 in each of these areas. All right, so now let's go to the next one, contribution. What do you want for contribution? What is your definition of a 10 in the area of your contribution? See, it's different for different people. Some people get juice from giving money away. Other people will say, no, giving money away doesn't do anything for me. What I'm interested in doing is I'm interested in giving my time to people. Someone else is going to say, no, I want to do things. I want to build things. I want to create things. So it's going to be completely different, but how do you contribute? What's your definition of a 10, absolute success in the area of contribution and giving back to the world? And remember, human beings will do much more for anyone else than they'll ever do for themselves. Even the most selfish people in the world, when push comes to shove and they're given the option and they're doing something for someone else, they actually put more into it than they would do for themselves. So then after that comes one of my favorite areas on this wheel, fun and excitement. If you know anything about me, you know I love to have a good time. I wouldn't work as hard as I do and do the things I do if I didn't like to have fun. And that's why my events are part rock concert. I mean, literally, it's like I like to create an atmosphere where people get excited and really have a good time. I like people to leave and say, hey, this is better than the last rock concert I went to. That's a compliment for me. That's what I want. Right? And in my personal life, I love to travel. I love to go to fun places. I like to do extreme things, skydiving and bungee jumping and whatever else I can get my hands on that's going to give me that thrill and excitement in life, and having a good time and enjoying nightlife and all that. So people hear Armand wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning and they see that I keep in really good shape and all, and all that, and they see my relationship and my kids and they assume I'm this boring guy who sits on my butt and doesn't really have fun. Let me tell you, I have a lot of fun, and I love having fun. I love creating fun and excitement in other people's lives. But I understand that's one of the 10 areas of life. And some people overemphasize that area, while other people underemphasize that area. So where are you at? What's your definition of a 10 in fun and excitement? Do you need to have more fun and excitement in your life? Or maybe are you overdoing it a little bit and sacrificing some of the other parts, including the next part, family and friends? So what are you doing in the area of family and friends? What's your definition of a 10? What's your definition of success when it comes to family and friends? And by the way, do some of these parts of the wheel feed each other? Absolutely. Because guess what? For example, you can have fun with your family and friends. You could even go into business with them if you're crazy enough to try something like that, right? You could create an environment where you're feeding multiple parts of the wheel in the same way. Imagine if you're living your mission in a way that's fun, and you also have your friends and family involved with it in a way that you can grow, and you can be better connected to your spirit and at the same time have emotional growth. See, that's what titanium is for me, and more. Because that's 6 areas of the wheel, like I just mentioned, but it could be 7, 8, 9, or even all 10 areas. Imagine if you have something in your life where you have all 10 areas of your life thrive when you're in it. That's something that you can get addicted to. That's something that you can really, really, truly be the best in the world at. And those are the kinds of things you want. Areas where you've got something that you do that feeds multiple parts of your area. But what do you want for your family and friends? What's your definition of a 10? You want to write that down and document it. And finally, consistent growth. What's your definition of consistent growth? And what is it that you want in your life so that you can feel like you're consistently growing? See, for me, it's about having something that one of my mentors taught me, having a mobile university. I've been attending a mobile university, my friends, for 23 years. That mobile university is called my car. The University of Armand Sadeghi's car. That car, every day when I get in it, there's either an audiobook, some sort of an audio program, or something going at all times so that it's a mobile university and I'm constantly learning. I don't listen to the radio, listening to garbage on the radio when I'm in my car. That's time for me to thrive. I don't sit there and have meaningless conversations. Now, do I ever take phone calls? Of course I do. But most of my time is spent being in my mobile university learning. And you know what's interesting is over the last few years, I've become a professor at Armand Sadeghi's mobile university. And as many of you know, I'm a huge advocate of educational marketing. And now part of what I do in my mobile university is I'm a student and a professor. So what I spend a lot of time doing while I'm driving is I teach in my mobile university by recording audio on various topics, which I then have transcribed and edited and turned into articles and books and content that I put out there for the world. How freaking cool is that, right? That's constantly growing. That allows me to grow, pushes me to the next limit. So what is your definition of consistent growth? So to summarize it then, these are the 10 areas of life. And in order to have that rocket fuel, if you really want to have that rocket fuel, or better yet, you want to have jet fuel, right? Or if you want jet fuel or you want to take it to the next level and have rocket fuel, right? If you want that, what do you have to do? What do you want in your life? What are the different things? What are the specifics that are going to get it for you? Because that's what matters. Let's capture those specifics on paper. Let's make sure you understand exactly what you want. So now you have a target. You're not going through life not even knowing where you're going. You see, some of us have GPS systems in our cars and we put exactly where we want to go and we even have GPS systems that avoid the traffic. That's all great. But see, some people are driving out there. Not only do they not have traffic control on their GPS, they don't even have GPS. But more importantly, some of them don't even know what destination they're trying to get to. So what I've just talked about is knowing what you want in all 10 areas of your life. This is what's going to define what your destination is. Right. And life is not some crazy destination that we fight to get to. Life is this beautiful journey where we're constantly growing and learning and having fun along the way. But at the same time, we do need to know what our definition of success is. We want to capture it and we want to have it in writing so we can refer back to it, right, on a consistent basis. And when you do that, my friends, is when you get that rocket fuel that allows you to go to levels that most people can only dream of being at. So my challenge to you today, as I leave you here on this beautiful day of spending time with you, my challenge to you is get out there and identify what you want in these 10 areas and stop listening to what everyone else wants from you. As you're writing these things down, don't listen to what other people think is successful. What do you think is successful? What do you think a successful relationship should look like? What do you think a successful career and mission is like? What do you think is your area of consistent growth? Don't listen to me. Don't listen to other people. Define it for yourself, because that is going to be your rocket fuel. When you're living by other people's idea of success, you're working on 87 octane fuel at best. In fact, it might even be watered down 87 octane fuel. But when you start living by your own definition of success, my goodness, that's what gets you up in the morning. That's what pushes you through. That's what gets you excited. So get out there, define what you want, and always remember, the most important piece of advice I can ever give you is do as Titanium says and always lead with your heart. Have a beautiful day.